Most people will fail. Alex still remembered the way those words landed on him. He was sitting in a crowded seminar, years ago, listening to a speaker on stage. The man paused, looked around the room of nearly 500 eager faces, and repeated, "Most people in this room will fail. Only 10% will ever achieve the dreams they're chasing." At first, Alex scoffed. That won't be me, he thought. He was ambitious, hungry, and confident that his future was bright. He believed he was destined to be part of that rare group who made it. But fast forward 6 years, and life painted a different picture. His business had collapsed, he had quit the gym, again, and his dream of writing a book lay unfinished in a dusty drawer. He sat in his tiny apartment, staring at bills stacked on the table, realizing he had become the very thing he once laughed at, part of the 90% who gave up. It's a harsh truth no one likes to admit. Look around, most people start strong but end weak. Everyone begins a journey with excitement, whether it's a new job, a new relationship, a new business, or a new dream. But time has a way of testing us. Motivation fades. Challenges pile up. Life throws curveballs. And one by one, people begin to quit. Life is like a marathon. At the starting line, the road is crowded. Energy is high, cheers fill the air, and everyone believes they'll make it to the finish. But mile after mile, the runners thin out. Some stop because of pain. Others because of exhaustion. Some because they lose belief. And by the time the finish line comes into view, only a small group, about 10%, are still running. That's the reality Alex finally had to face. His mentor was right. Winning wasn't about being talented, rich, or lucky. It was about refusing to quit when everyone else did. The question now haunted him, was he going to stay with the 90%, or would he fight to become the 10% who wins? Alex thought back to the countless times he had quit. The gym membership he abandoned after 3 weeks because the mirror didn't show results fast enough. The online business he shut down after the first major setback. Even the book he had once poured his heart into, left unfinished after writer's block made him doubt himself. Each time, he had an excuse. It's too hard. Maybe it's not for me. I'll try again later. But deep down, he knew the truth, he had chosen comfort over commitment. And that's why most people fail. Not because they aren't smart enough or capable enough, but because they expect the road to success to be smooth. The moment it gets bumpy, they stop. Think about January at the gym. The treadmills are full, the weights are busy, and everyone has fresh energy from their New Year's resolutions. But by February? Empty. By March? Only a few regulars remain. People quit because the soreness came, because the scale didn't change fast enough, because life got busy. They wanted the reward without the grind. The same happens with dreams. A student starts with the dream of graduating top of their class, but when the late nights and sacrifices get too heavy, they give up. A young entrepreneur launches a startup, but after a failed product or a harsh rejection, they shut it down. A writer begins a book, but when inspiration runs dry, the project dies. The truth is simple, the 90% want shortcuts. They want the prize, but not the process. They want to win without failing, but in avoiding failure, they guarantee it. Alex realized he was no different. Every time life pushed him, he retreated. He had lived like the 90%. But deep inside, he wondered, could he change? Could he learn to keep going when things got tough? One night, Alex picked up an old notebook where he had written lessons from his mentor. On one page, in bold letters, were the words, "The 10% are not fearless. They're just relentless." That was the secret. The people who win are not people who never fail. They are people who fail and fail and fail, but keep showing up anyway. Thomas Edison failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about it, he famously said, I didn't fail 1,000 times. I discovered 1,000 ways that didn't work. J.K. Rowling was rejected by 12 publishers before Harry Potter became one of the best-selling books of all time. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming one of the greatest players in history. Were they different? No. They felt the same doubts, the same fears. The difference was, they didn't quit when others did. The 10% have a mindset the 90% don't. They wake up early when others sleep. They practice when others relax. They choose discipline over comfort. They don't wait for motivation, because they know motivation fades. They rely on consistency. They embrace boredom, repetition, and pain, because they know greatness is hidden there. Alex realized he had been waiting for inspiration, for the perfect time to try again. But the 10% didn't wait. They moved forward in spite of fear, in spite of doubt. If he wanted to join them, he had to change his entire approach. That night, Alex made a decision: he was done being part of the 90%. The next morning, Alex sat at his desk and wrote a plan. His new dream was to rebuild his business, but this time, he would play by the 10% rule. First, he got clear: what did success actually look like for him? Not vague dreams like, I want to be rich, but specific goals. Second, he committed to the process. He promised himself he would work daily, even if results didn't show up right away. Third, he embraced failure as part of the journey. Every mistake would be a teacher, not a reason to quit. Fourth, he changed his environment. He stopped spending time with friends who laughed at his goals and instead sought mentors and peers who pushed him forward. And finally, he committed to consistency. No matter how small the progress, he would show up every single day. At first, progress was invisible. Some days, it felt like nothing was working. But unlike before, Alex didn't stop. When he made a mistake, he adjusted. When he failed, he tried again. Slowly, momentum built. His business grew, not overnight, but step by step. His confidence returned. His discipline strengthened. And here's the truth: you can do the same. You don't need to be extraordinary to be in the 10%. You just need to choose differently. Choose persistence when others choose excuses. Choose discipline when others choose laziness. Choose to stay when others walk away. Months later, Alex sat at the same desk where he once wrote his plan. But this time, things were different. His business was alive and growing. His body was stronger. His mind was sharper. He had proven to himself that he could be part of the 10%. And now, the same choice sits before you. Every day, you are moving closer to the 90% or the 10%. Every time you choose comfort, you slide back with the majority. But every time you choose discipline, you rise into the minority. The truth is, life doesn't reward those who start, it rewards those who finish. The world won't remember the 90% who quit. It remembers the 10% who kept running. So ask yourself, which side are you on? The side that gave up because it was hard? Or the side that pushed forward, even when it seemed impossible? Remember, the 90% fail because they quit. The 10% win because they don't. Success isn't about being lucky or special. It's about refusing to quit until you win. Be the 10%. The world is waiting for your story.